The Indian Army has launched a fierce counter to Pakistan's barbarism and backstabbing, responding to Pakistan's action yesterday, where 3 soldiers were martyred, one of them mutilated. The Army today started a massive fire assault all along the LOC. The Army is using heavy mortars to hit Pakistani posts that helped in infiltration bids. It's the biggest fire assault yet along the LOC since 2003.
हमारा जो लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल में काफ़ी गतिविधि इसलिए है कि पाकिस्तान बौखलाए हुए हैं, तो वहाँ से जितना भी पाकिस्तान साइड से सीज फायर वायलेशन होता है उसका बड़ी ज़ोरदार से हमारा बीएसएफ और भारतीय सेना के जवानों ने जवाब दिया है और दे रहे हैं। इसलिए जो परिस्थिति है उसको पूरा नियंत्रण में रखा है।
जिस तरीके से बॉडी म्यूटिलेट।
My colleague Gaurav Samant now joins us live. Gaurav, first give us a detailed report on what exactly is happening right now according to your sources.
All along the line of control, from Kale in North Kashmir down to Naushera in the Jammu sector, the army is retaliating very heavily. It's a punitive strike is what sources in the army headquarters have told India today on Pakistani bases and forward posts that have aided and abetted infiltration in the past. This is also a punitive strike for mutilating the body of one of the Indian Army soldiers in the Machil sector yesterday. The response is not just in the Machil sector, but sometime back in the Gurez sector, that Pakistan also, is admitting that in the Neelam Valley sector, they have suffered casualties. Pakistan claims they've suffered civilian casualties, but my sources in the army tell me that there are heavy military casualties that have been inflicted on the Pakistan army, and this will continue. Pakistan has also fired in the Rajouri sector where 2 BSF personnel have been injured. But this is a very intense exchange of fire, though restricted to heavier caliber of mortars. The artillery hasn't opened up just as yet, Padmaja.
All right, just stay with me, Gaurav, because I also want to get in Shuja, who's joining us live from the Machil sector. Shuja, for how long is this offensive going to continue? Because the army yesterday responded very strongly. The first statement that came from the Northern Command said that Pakistan will be paid in kind for what has happened, especially since one soldier was mutilated.
Well, Padmaja, how long it will continue is something which will directly depend on the kind of escalation we will see on the ground. Now, since yesterday itself, we've been getting reports that firing was taking place at various posts. In fact, in the morning we got to know that at least 12 Pakistani posts were being fired upon, and there were ceasefire violations from across the line of control as well. In fact, even as we speak, there is a report coming in that ceasefire violation has taken place in Gurez sector. Some shells have landed in the residential or civilian areas of Gurez. Let's remember, Gurez has not seen ceasefire violation in at least last 6 years. So it is definitely a pointer towards the fact that how tension prevails from both sides on the line of control. Pakistani media has been reporting that heavy damage has been incurred on their side as well. In fact, Pakistani army statements say that civilians have also been killed, which is something that of course have not been really confirmed from any side so far. But the fact really remains that tension has gone up many levels on the line of control, particularly after this incident in which 3 of Indian Army soldiers were killed in Machil. If we talk about the larger aspect of it, ever since that Uri attack took place and following which the surgical strikes were carried out, there have been at least 300 incidents of ceasefire violation that have happened, and of course not to forget the infiltration bids which have also happened around the line of control. So overall, it seems that the tension continues to prevail, and it doesn't seem to be dying down anytime soon.
All right, Shuja and Gaurav, just stay with me because there's more news coming in right now. In fact, 2 BSF men have been injured in the Keren sector from splinter wounds, again this time because of Pakistani firing. Yes, Shuja, give us more details about this as well.
like I was pointing out, the entire line of control, except for the Ladakh area, has been seeing activity since morning. We saw activity happening in Poonch and now in Rajouri as well, where we're getting to know that 3 of the BSF jawans have sustained splinter injuries. Heavy mortars are being used from both sides. Indian Army has also used heavy mortars and the machine guns, heavy machine guns to target the Pakistani posts, and we are getting to know that similar weaponry is being used from across the line of control as well. All these incidents only go on to point out that both the armies of both the sides are at this point of time in an extreme sense of tension when it comes to these violations. Like I was pointing out, it is not just Rajouri. There are areas like Gurez which we hadn't seen ceasefire violation for a long time, which is seeing activity today.
In fact, Jugal also is with us on the phone line, and it's perhaps for this very reason that this is being called the biggest escalation in the last 13 years, Jugal.
Well, Padmaja, the army sources who I've been speaking to refuse to put any such, value or any such description to it, for the simple reason that the army does not want to be seen as an aggressor. The army wants to be seen as a responder to what is taking place. In the latest bit of information that we've come to know is that 2 BS jawans have sustained splinter injuries while basically responding to Pakistani ceasefire violations. This has taken place in North Kashmir's Keren sector. Not too many details available at this point about the nature of injuries and the seriousness.
Okay.
But the BSF is evacuating those 2 personnel who have been injured, and with this, the ceasefire violation count is steadily inching closer to 400, which will, of course, be a huge number, because this was a year where, if you see, before the surgical strikes and the URI attacks,
Okay, we seem to be losing the line with you, Jugal. Thanks very much for getting us the details that you have so far. Thanks also to my colleagues Gaurav Sawant and Shujaul Haq. Pakistan Army once again targeted Indian Army post today morning along the line of control in the areas of Krishna Ghati, Naushera and Bimbar Gali, as well as Manja Kot in the Rajouri sector. According to reports, firing along the LOC is underway and the Indian Army is responding strongly. The Pakistan Army started indiscriminate firing from 9 in the morning along the line of control. Pakistan has been continuing with these unprovoked ceasefire violations ever since India conducted the surgical strike in POK after the Uri attack.
For the first time in 6 years, there has been a ceasefire violation in Gurez sector. Locals were really panicked because of the kind of mortar shells that landed up in the civilian areas of Gurez. Similar reports are coming in from across the line of control. In fact, some reports from Pakistani media also suggest that there has been a lot of damage that has been incurred on the other side of the line. Clearly, the tension seems to be only escalating, and with incidents like that of Maschal, there are no signs of de-escalation. Let's remember that after the Uri attack and subsequent surgical strike which was announced by Indian Army, there has been continuous firing that has happened on the line of control. In fact, some reports suggest more than 300 ceasefire violations have happened in last few weeks in itself. So clearly one thing very out in the open. The troops on both sides seem to be aggressive, and with incidents like the one that happened yesterday, Indian side not ready to taking it lying down and responding with equal caliber. With cameraman Tariq, Shujaul Haq, Insanagar for India Today.